Breaking news now, a federal judge ordering the Trump administration to bring the Maryland man mistakenly sent to El Salvador back to the U.S. by Monday. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was taken into custody by ICE officers last month and accused of being a gang member. But the Trump administration later acknowledged that the migrant's deportation was the result of an administrative error. Still, officials say that there's little they can do to bring him back from this notorious prison where they sent him. We'll track it.
From the wife of a man who was mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. He was on one of those planes full of migrants deported without due process last month, even though, listen to this, he had been given protected immigration status by a judge back in 2019. Now, the White House claims he is a dangerous criminal, but they have provided no evidence of that. His wife told our Camilo Montoyo Galvez he was just trying to follow the rules.
I waited and waited. He never made that call.
Jennifer says when her husband, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was detained and mistakenly deported by immigration authorities in March, he told her he could be sent to Secot, the notorious Salvadorian prison.
I was scared. I was very scared.
Why?
Because I've seen news of that prison, and I knew they take criminals there, and my husband's not a criminal.
Abrego Garcia was granted legal status protecting him from deportation back to El Salvador in 2019 because of safety concerns in his home country. Jennifer says he continued to check in with immigration officials until he was stopped by ICE on March 12 in Maryland. Just days later, Jennifer saw this photo of Abrego Garcia inside Secot.
When I saw it, I immediately broke down because I knew it was him.
What was your biggest fear when you identified him?
I was scared for his life.
In court documents filed Monday, the government said although ICE was aware of his protection from removal, Abrego Garcia was removed to El Salvador because of an administrative error. Now that he's out of the country, officials say they have no jurisdiction to bring him back.
The error that you are referring to was a clerical error. It was an administrative error.
The Trump administration acknowledged the mistake, but defended Abrego Garcia's deportation.
He is a leader in the brutal MS-13 gang, and he is involved in human trafficking.
The White House did not detail any evidence that proves those allegations. Jennifer says her husband is not a gang member, but instead just a proud father of their 5-year-old son with disabilities.
He's not a criminal. My husband is an amazing person, an amazing father.
Court documents indicate that Abrego Garcia entered the U.S. illegally back in 2011 and that he had some traffic violations here. But they also show he had no criminal record in the U.S. and that in 2019, that order from that immigration judge that should have blocked his deportation to El Salvador was based on concerns that he could be persecuted by gangs there. Jennifer told us that is now her biggest concern.
Camilla, and this is a very complicated story and a sad one. The government is very adamant that, in their estimation, this is a dangerous criminal who deserves to be deported. Do you have any reporting on what that determination is based on? I know we haven't seen the evidence. And also the what now? Okay, so he's there in El Salvador. It was an error based on his protected status. What's the prospect of him coming back to America?
Sure, Tony. So we know that according to the administration, this man is being accused of being a gang member in El Salvador and also of participating in human trafficking. The gang member accusation is based, according to officials, on testimony from a credible informant, but his lawyers dispute that accusation, saying that it is based on hearsay. And the government has not provided any evidence as it relates to the human trafficking accusation. As it relates to the question of how he can contest, Tony, this accusation,